and welcome back to the Black FemFlames channel. This is Clara and Lily and Jazz
Hi,
here back again tonight. Finally have our girl Lily back with us. We missed you, love. How are you? How was your rest?
I'm good. I was working a lot. I pulled some overtime, so yesterday was my first day off in 2 weeks, so it was a lot. But I'm better. I got some rest. I feel good. Ready to talk about it. Let's go.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So what we're gonna talk about today is our fears in this journey and how we overcame them. Um, so we're gonna kick things off with beautiful Miss Lily. So let us know, what were your fears coming into the journey and how did you conquer them? If you had any, give us the tea.
Well, first of all, what I can say, and I think for the most part, I really didn't know much about twin flames. I did get a reading, and she kind of tipped me off, and because I was coming out of a relationship and wasn't looking for it, she was like, you guys were set to light a fire in one another. I think I mentioned that before, and it kind of threw me off. It scared me a little bit, and I felt like he knew, because then I feel like he was more into the spiritual stuff, and he might have been on the look. I don't know, but for me, I was coming out of an engagement, so I started to feel some type of way. I'm very focused. All my friends know that about me. Very goal oriented. Like, I didn't date, didn't do nothing. I just was like in school, focused, and then like all of a sudden, get into a relationship, doesn't work out. Then I run into this man. So it was very scary because nobody really believes you. That's the biggest
Yeah.
thing, because we're so caught in a 3D realm, and we have to, conform to society, and it's not really something that the Black community discusses at all. I had never heard of it. And when I really read about it and started like diving into research, it was one of those things that was just like a what, because I could like literally relate to everything.
Yeah.
And then I even asked my twin, like, who are you, before I even knew anything. I think before I even got that reading, because it was just like we were a lot alike. And it was really interesting, So when I started researching on the journey, I was afraid. I did have my brother to talk to a lot, but it was like I had moments where I would just be like completely blown away, because I was just like, I can't be going through this. This can't be real, But
Yeah.
I'll just be
Yeah.
honest with you. Um, I'm not no punk. So I was willing, like I was telling him before I even knew about the twin flame thing, like, hey, I'm gonna come visit you, because I was so attracted to him at that
Mhm.
time. And it was like, I was like, wow, like, oh my gosh, like this is just amazing. It was that beautiful. When you bump into somebody, you be like, hey, I know you.
Mhm.
Wow,
That's
like we
soul
found each other.
recognition.
But it was kind of weird, because it was like I hit on him, so it was like my soul kind of knew, based on, because like I would kind of get lost. I would get stuck in his eyes, and I was like, this isn't, that scared me. Like, looking at my eyes was a thing, because I have like a bit of a lazy eye. It's not really noticeable, but like I laugh about it because you can see it. It's funny. It's not like bad, but it's funny. And I was like, he got my eyes.
Mhm.
That was the scariest, because I've never seen that. I've never had that. I've never had somebody evoke emotion like that just at that distance. And I was so like obsessed in the beginning, and it scared me because I was always so focused. I was like, what is this? What is this for? What? Because I kept saying, God, whatever you got
What
for
did
me,
you
I'm
mean
ready
by
for it.
what did you mean by you were obsessed? Like obsessed with the journey or obsessed with what
Um,
was happening? Like what do you mean?
him.
Him.
Before I knew what a twin flame was, it was just like, oh, this man is so fine to me. And I just started talking about him, and I was like, I don't even know why I like this man like so much. He hasn't done anything, and I just like him a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So like we talked a lot, and it was just like just check-ins. In the beginning, he had a girlfriend, so I really didn't think twice about it. And before that reading, I felt some type of way, but I didn't know what it was. So um, after, I would say, November, I mustered up the courage to ask him what was going on. And at the end of the month, like, he was like, before we jump the gun, I want to meet you. And like I said, human trafficking is real. And I scared my sisters and my friends because I just took a flight to go meet him by myself.
Absolutely.
And the state of the world then, because it was last year, during my birthday season, it's like people getting abducted, people going missing. I never knew this man outside of like one video chat. I don't know. I did a lot of research and I was like, you know what? If this is really something of God, I can go and meet this man and I should be able to feel safe. And my sister, like, she made me call her and she was like, oh, the way he looks at you, he looks like, he's looking into your soul. She said that. And
Mhm.
she'll tell you. And I was like, yeah, I saw that. And it kind of threw me off. That scared me too, because we were in, we were in a whole different state. I don't have anyone in Arizona. So after a while, I just went into the whole mindset of faith over fear. The more research you do, the more comfortable you become.
Yeah.
Um, Once you let like the idea go, like just like, okay, well, this can't be possible. Once you let that go, I think that you're able to kind of look at it like, okay, if this is real, with your intuition, the only way it gets stronger is if you start to trust it, honestly. And I don't think that we do. A lot of people brush their teeth with fluoride toothpaste and they don't know what that does to their pineal gland. And, like, there's a lot of things that, blocks our natural intuition. So I started trusting myself and I kind of just embody right now, like even vocalizing what I need to vocalize is faith over fear. I'm
Yeah.
going to trust my intuition. So amongst like overcoming the fear, it was like also learning to trust myself, trust my intuition,
Yeah.
um, and just step out of that mindset of lack and fear. Like, just know you're worthy. You're worthy. Don't be afraid of your intuition. Trust the intuition in you because that's a God-given gift. And
Yeah.
this is a spiritual journey that helps you come back into oneness with yourself, usually after a very turbulent period. So I embraced it as a beautiful thing
Yeah.
and I let go of the fear and I started vocalizing and trying to communicate and put myself out there and really seeing that the purpose, was what I wanted to accomplish. And it was a beautiful way that God constructed the journey to really redirect your focus and reactivate that love, that unconditional love on the inside. So I feel like once I put faith in God, I stepped out of fear because He's an amazing God, and we
Yeah.
really don't know about this. But I don't think it's anything that's a coincidence. I think it's for a reason. So when you're on this journey, make sure you look for the reason and step out of fear.
Yes. Yes.
What about you, Tess?
Good. That was good. Oh my gosh. My fears were the betrayal of love. I felt like, how can I love somebody and protect myself? Because I felt like I was giving everything and I couldn't control it. I couldn't control it. I couldn't control it. I couldn't control it. So it was, for me, it was kind of like, if he doesn't love me back, or this doesn't go this way, it's kind of like it's betrayal. Because to a
Yeah.
certain extent, if you don't love a person, then you're only using them,
Exactly.
period. You're only using them
It's true.
because you can't reciprocate the feelings that they're giving you, so you're just there and you're just using them. So I feel like for me, that was pretty much my big one, was the betrayal of loving somebody who didn't love me back. So
Wow.
I like, on my journey, how I had to learn how to deal with it was, I had to let my twin be him. And I had to learn how to control my emotions because I'm a Pisces. Them
Mhm.
emotions be running wild. So prior to that, I learned how to control them. But when I met my twin, they was all haywire. They
Yeah.
was they was all out of control. So I had to
Yep.
relearn them in a good manner. Instead of suppressing them so much, I learned how to deal with them in a different way. So it would be times where we would have discussions and I would tell him how I feel, and then I would ask him how he feel. And because he didn't give me the response I was looking for, I would get defensive. But now is when we have those conversations, and I'm like, okay, I understand that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And it makes it totally different. Like the feelings are totally different. Our discussions go a whole lot different compared to what they were like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Like even as far as like us sharing emotional feelings, they're totally they're totally different now. Even if he don't say things that I'm looking for him to say, I mean, it's fine. Now some days I'll be like, look, I need that reassurance. Like I need you to tell me this. Only
Yeah.
because I need it at that time. Like I
Yeah.
feel like when you deal with this journey, you know when you're supposed to tell your twin some things. Like I know if my twin is going through something, and he don't even necessarily have to tell me. I'll just send him a text out the blue and I say, I love you, period. And he'll be like, wow, Jess, like how you, like, I was just thinking about you, or I'm this is going on right now. Like how you knew that. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just felt like I needed to send you that. Like, and it
Yeah.
just be like little simple things like that. And I'll tell him all the time, like, I know you have these issues, but at this time when I'm asking you, I need you to tell me. Like my twin know if I send him, I love him, and he sends me, well, why do you love me? Girl, hold on, let me get this text together. I'm gonna tell you. Like I can literally, and I don't mind. Like I will
Hmm.
every time he asks me that, I will tell him why. Because I know it's a reason why you asking me, why do I love you? And
Yeah.
that's okay. That for me, that's okay because I can express myself. And that's
Yeah.
fine for me. But I think that was my biggest fear, which is pretty simple. I mean, once I got over it.
Once you
But
got over it. So
once I got
you think that now, like, things are a lot easier for you now, like, as far as loving him and being on a journey and stuff?
oh, most definitely. Loving him, it came naturally to love him first of all. It's just him reciprocating that love back to me is what I had a issue with in the beginning. I mean, because we all love different. We all
Yeah.
love different. So
Yeah.
it was like that Betty Wright song where while I was learning my man, I was earning my man. Like
Mm.
literally, while I was learning him, I was earning him. So it's things that I get now that I didn't get then, and I'm okay with that, even if it's just a forehead kiss. Like that's how he expresses himself to me, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful realization, ladies. Um, for me, I think my fears were surrounding, I think, learning, like what we talked about before, just learning unconditional love and what that meant. And then, like, because I had came out of a marriage, and I was married for 12 years. Um, so it was like when I was with my husband, I was in like this little cocoon, and things were different. And I remember begging him to love me the way that I needed to be loved, and didn't really understand what that meant as far as like understanding what love languages were. So my fears coming in, so like that kind of like destroyed our relationship, like not understanding love languages and not understanding each other's love language, and kind of expecting that love would be translated the way that one person wanted it to be translated. You know what I'm saying? So like if that's not my love language, I can't translate love to you that way, so then there will be automatic offense, so then things will just kind of fall apart. So moving forward, I think I didn't really know what it meant how important it was for me to love myself first, and then to be able to love someone fully. I thought that if I gave myself over out and and gave out of the empty cup, that meant that I was loving someone. And
Yes.
and it really, and what I when I came into my twin flame journey, I had to learn very quickly that my cup had to be full first. So I think when I met him, like when we met face to face, and I was falling in love with him so quickly, it was it was so scary to me, because I'm like, okay, I don't have any control over this. I need to kind of like grab hold of it and control it, and figure out where my feelings are, and then kind of and really have an opportunity to kind of catch myself. So I had to, like, your twin flame, they pull out all of your stuff. So like my stuff was insecurity and learning to love myself unconditionally and being unconditionally forgiving to myself, and also like fear of abandonment and those things. So like I had to fix that, and I had to, and all of that got kind of pulled out and like presented to me like, here, boom, this is what you have. And then on top of that, finding, learning love and learning how to love this person that I literally had just met face to face, and it was just very scary. So like where I think the runner chaser dynamic, when that happened, it kind of gave me an excuse to kind of like retreat and just be like, okay, well, let me just lick my wounds and just figure out my stuff. And then it kind of gave me also an excuse to say, okay, well, you know what? Well, that was puppy love and it wasn't something that was real. So I'm gonna just let it go. But then when I went and let go of me, it was like, okay, well, I gotta figure this thing out. Like I gotta love myself. And so that's what happened. Like loving my twin forced me to love myself because, you know, when you're, and it was a weird dynamic because we weren't even communicating. We were in complete and total separation. And I really had to look within, and I was forced to love myself because it was just me that was left. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have my ex-husband anymore. And that was kind of like a crutch relationship because I had been in it for so long. And then I had my children, but I needed to love me to be a good mom, you know what I'm saying, to be there for my children. So it was just like, so that was a huge like undertaking, and just like learning how to re-love myself, to be able to love my twin, and then realizing that we were twins, and then that was scary all in itself. Like just understanding that I had a soul contract and that we had a contract from God and a responsibility, and you know,
Pressure.
it's a lot of pressure. And I'm just like, that was just more excuse. Like, okay, I just gotta run. Like this is scary as hell. Like this is just too much. And then I'm honestly going through that feeling unworthy. Like that unworthiness, I had to deal with that as well. Like fighting myself, realizing that, you know, okay, this is something that I chose before I came here on this planet, and God said that I was good enough for this, and accepting that, you know, it's okay, and then I might be this might be something that I'm cut out for. I'm cut out for this. So like that that was a part of me, like the development and the change and like of who I was, and then like that's when I had to learn a lot about myself as well too, like as far as like also relearning loving myself, and then learning what my purpose was and what our purpose was, and mostly knowing what my purpose was as an individual before being a twin flame, and then understanding where that piece fit in with him. So, and if it did, um, so I think, and then like I think now where we are now in that peaceful like surrender to the journey and surrender to like to love and being accepting, and then also you have to learning that I think it was more so like what was also a fear for me, and I'm sure you ladies may be able to relate, is just like being afraid that you'll love somebody so much and they don't love you back as much as you love them, and then like feeling like feeling like that, like you just wasted your time or whatever. And then like, so that was a huge fear. So then I had to overcome that, like where I had to say to myself that it was okay for me to love this person as much as I could love him, because I couldn't help it. So it was okay for me to love him immensely and profoundly and 100% expect nothing from him. And that's when things change. That's when like doors open, or as far as like different faculties, like spiritual faculties, and just like just um just everything, things being attracted to me as far as abundance and love and light. So those things that were mine, when I had accepted that I can fully and completely love someone and love them unconditionally and expect nothing in return, not even for them to love me back or to affirm me or any of those things. So that was a huge lesson that I had to learn. And I was happy to I finally get to that place now. Like that was a big hurdle for me, and I feel like that's like that was the major thing for me, major thing for me. and I'm happy to be here now. Like just loving on myself, even fully and 100% loving him and not expecting anything or needing anything from him in return, and still being able to move steadfast into my spiritual purpose and in my journey, because like being in this on this twin flame journey, it's a journey, and it's not a destination to union. It's a journey to what it is that you have to do for God and for the planet. So that's where I'm at now.
That's
So
very interesting. I mean, it's crazy because I do have a question for y'all. Did y'all run or did your twin run in the beginning?
Both. We both did. But I think in my situation, my twin ran before I ran. But it was him that kicked it off with the running because I just wanted to love him. Like, and I think it was scary for him that I could really just love him, and that's all I wanted. Like that is literally all I wanted.
mm,
Like I didn't need no money. I can make my own money. I
yep,
do that. I make my
yep,
own money. I'm my
yep,
own boss. Like I
yep,
don't need nothing from you. All you got to do is let me do me. Let me do me. And you give it to me in return. However you love. It's how I want it. That's it. But he kicked it off first. And then about time he got ready to come back or I was just like, look, I'm over this.
yeah,
Like, and then eventually somebody was like, oh, forget it. I think in my dynamic, what kept us together the most, because we are both bullheaded. Like he's a Taurus. My moon is in Taurus. We are bullheaded. We are stubborn. And I think the only thing I think that kept us together was at the core, we were friends first. And I think when our dynamic went down, it was more so that hurt me. And he could understand that at any time that our situation changed, anything happened in your life that would change our situation, you let me know.
yeah,
Like, don't leave me hanging. Like, do not tell me or ghost me. I'm not that type of person because I'm
yeah,
a big girl. I can take that. So if
yeah,
anytime you had some other issues or responsibilities or you wanted to do something else, let me know because we were friends first. We were
yeah,
friends, and
yeah.
I said that. So
I
for
think
me, it was both of us at one point in time.
yeah, for me, it was. I think it was both of us, but mostly him, because like in the beginning, like in a twin flame journey, you have like that like your period of like that bliss, euphoria, and that burst of like dopamine. It happens like so quickly.
Okay,
It
for like
happens.
1, 2 weeks,
Yeah,
3 weeks,
it happens for
maybe.
like a hot second. So we
And
had
then
those, and
reality.
then
No.
here come incubation, here come irritation, and you just like, that's when they start pulling your shit out. So I'm just like, the moment when that happened, it was like, okay, I was hurt, but then I was just like, okay, I'm willing to kind of move forward because I love you so much. But then like he still needed to like to run, and I didn't understand like why. And then I was just like, okay, I was okay with it because I'm like, all right, now I have an excuse to not be bothered because I can't
Not deal
control
with.
it, and I need to be able to control this, and I can't. So I'm like, okay, now he's going, I'm done. And I thought that immediately that was like the end of it. Like, okay, like I'm a big girl and I can move on, and I'm very easily to I kind of lose interest to whatever next thing that's shiny in my way. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be all right. And then when we weren't talking and weren't in communication for months, and he was still on my mind, and I could not let go, it was like, okay, like there is something else here. Like, huh?
I said, good try.
Yeah, it was like, no, we're not going anywhere, sis. Like, he was just sitting there hanging around. He said that he was hanging around like a stealth ninja in my heart, just keeping me away from everybody else.
So,
So
your dynamic, who you think is the running chaser? Like, like,
he was definitely the runner. He was definitely the runner. Chasing, I wasn't chasing nobody. So I was just like, okay, you're gonna run by. Like, I think I was just like, okay. But then I was still like creep in his inbox like a month or so later, like, are you okay? Like, because you won't leave me alone. You're in my dreams. I feel you. I need to know that you're okay. And then he'll be like, okay. And then he'll come back, and then I'll have that warm and fuzzy. And then he'll ghost again. And then I'll just be like, okay, this is some bullshit. Like, I'm over this. And then, so I guess I was chasing, but like very slowly. Like was, I was pedaling. Like,
I used to think my twin thought I was lying. Like he thought I was making it up. Like even though he had heard of a twin flame before, I think he looked at me and he was probably like, "Nah, this girl is not me. Like she's not me. Like, but I am so you. I'm you."
I
So I'm like,
love
"Okay,
it.
I love
sorry,
it.
sorry."
Mine was like if we had like, because I told you he told me that we were twins. Like, because I was like because I have when I was falling in love with him and I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. I went to a reader. And I was like, okay, what's up with this guy? Like, I didn't even say the guy. She was just like, she had mentioned my ex-husband. And then she was like, there's this new person who's your twin flame. I said, well, what the hell? What is that? What is a twin flame? I ain't never heard of that. I'm like, what is that? And she was telling me what it was. And then I had forgot all about it. I forgot what the name of it was. So then months later, we speak to each other again. And I'm like, somebody said that we were like double something or something. He was like, oh, twin flames. I was like, what is that? How you know what that is? And he's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I was like, how do you think so? He's
But
like,
how do you know that though?
that's what I was saying. How do you know? And he was just like, he said that makes a lot of sense as far as like, how we feel magnetically pulled to each other. He's like, because anybody else, I would have ghosted and just kept it moving. Like, he's like, I just couldn't keep you off my mind. I was like, it was just weird. What
Well,
about you,
I
David?
was the runner.
You was
what
the
about you?
runner?
I was the runner. But
Makes
I
sense.
mean, we triggered each other's different opposite energy because like, I could be very masculine, very get it done, very goal oriented, the matrix twin, like you said, Jazz, but
Yes,
then
yes,
I also
yes.
have that duality. I have that balance. So
Do
he
not
triggered the
put me
feminine
on the
energy
stage
in
like
me,
that.
and I triggered the masculine energy in him. And,
Yeah.
it's really funny because, like, you guys are making me nostalgic, and it's not just like, just talking about spiritual connections, let's just be honest, they're scary, okay?
They are
Of any
very
sort,
scary.
and they're very powerful. Like for me, the universe, I asked the universe for something else in January, and they orchestrated some stuff that still has me discombobulated. Not really discombobulated because my twin kind of got me used to it in a sense. So once you go through it, don't be surprised if you guys run up on other people. Not saying go with somebody else, but like, even like, I've ran into like some female friends like y'all, it's a big possibility you guys could be a part of my soul tribe, but it's like you have to pay attention to the
Absolutely.
intuition. Nothing is a coincidence. So the fact that you guys were like, yeah, I saw you in the group, and like it just kind of ran from there. It's not a coincidence. So once you kind of figure that out and you come to terms with those feelings and realize that's really how we're supposed to be operating from that 5D or spiritual perspective,
Yeah.
you're okay. The fear kind of subsides. Like, I can relate to what y'all said, but it was different for me because I knew, like, looking at the situation, not putting his business out there, but like, it was a different dynamic, especially because of the age difference.
Yeah.
So it was a lot that I would have to accept. But I don't think that he understood that unconditional love was there. But for me, like, because I'm so, like, mental, like, I'm a very logical person because of that matrix, or whatever, like, being in tune with my masculine energy. But I was like, I know, because you have that telepathic communication. So it's like, I know, I feel you thinking about me, but you won't communicate.
Yeah.
Like, you want me to reach out to you and give you like a daily affirmation and chase after you, but I bowed out of the chase because I had spent like all of November, the 11th month, doing research. And I was like, one of the things that I have to put into perspective is like the energies. Like for me, it triggered my feminine, and then like it started to heal the feminine, and then I had someone else help me heal the feminine, and it's just like, yeah, I can be vocal about it because it's like one of those things that's very important, having that balance. I still, can trigger the masculine energy, turn up, start, do this, do that, get this done, get that done. But at the same time, I can be like a delicate little sensitive crybaby flower especially because I'm an empath. So I don't know. I think that's one of the, things that I had to overcome, like another fear, just coming to terms with like both sides, because it was like, I don't really trust anyone. And it's like, I was an only child. So it's like, for me, I was cool being single. I was cool not having, a boyfriend, because I was getting shit done. Like, and my bank account was loving me and I was loving it. And so I was living my best life, just living my best life, doing my thing. And it just came to a point where it was kind of like, wow, like, this is what this is about. This is what's going on, wow. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like faith over fear, that's the biggest message for us all.
Yes,
Don't be afraid. It's something beautiful. Embrace it. Love who you are. Speak it into existence who you are, because you know intuitively who you are. If you listen to that little voice in your head or in your stomach, the gut feeling like, hey, this is different. Embrace it. It's beautiful. It's different. It's unique. Not everyone gets to experience this. Not everyone crosses the path of a twin flame. So figure out what your purpose is. Work towards being your highest self.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's definitely a blessing. So, Miss Jazz, you have some messages for our divine masculine to our
Is it that time for the TNT?
time for the
So we're gonna get some messages from our divine.
Cards have already been blessed and shuffled.
Look, girl, wait, look, one already just like popped out. Like,
What is it? Let's see it.
girl, let me get like two more, and then I'll read them. Really, are you scared?
Cool.
It says, the first one says, love was just a word until you came along and you gave it meaning.
What?
Yes. The next one from our divine partner says, I'm sorry for all the things I didn't say.
Oh, isn't that what we needed? Ain't that what we're talking about?
Ain't that what we needed? And the last one is, how could I hurt someone so beautiful?
Oh my God.
You said this is a message from a divine partner. I'm out of here.
Tear. Well, ladies, that was the twin T. Obviously, somebody was been wanting to say something.
Maybe
So,
communication coming.
No, I need to go back and watch some more of my readings, because that right there is spot on.
Communication now.
I think that's coming. All right, so that's tonight's twin.
We gotta talk to y'all.
Black FemFlames episode 4. So,
Hi
guys. Wednesday night.
Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. Wednesday. Hey.
And we'll talk about what we're gonna talk about. We may or may not have a guest. We're gonna see. We're working on things, so we're gonna see what we can do and figure things out. Okay. All right. We love you.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Adios.